The most expensive way to use artificial intelligence is to fire somebody for it. That sounds backwards, so let me show you the math, because it's the math a lot of companies are quietly running right now and hating the answer. You let go of a person earning, say, $55,000 because the AI can handle most of what they did. Feels like a saving. And for about 6 months, it is. Then the bill arrives. Because the AI did about 60% of that job, the repeatable part. It could not do the other 40%, the judgment calls, the weird exceptions, the customer who needed a human. So you go to hire that back. Except now you're not hiring a $55,000 person. You're hiring somebody who can do the hard 40% and manage the AI on top of it. And that person costs $75,000. Add recruiting, training, and everything the person who left knew that nobody wrote down. The savings is gone. You're poorer and you're back where you started. So this video isn't about whether to use AI. Of course you should. I use it every single day and it's the best money I spend. This is about where to point it so you get all of the upside and none of that boomerang. And the whole thing comes down to one shift in how you look at your own business. You stop thinking about replacing people and you start thinking about replacing tasks. So here's what you're getting. A simple 4-step way to describe exactly what to hand a machine and what to protect that you can run on your own team this week. The one line that settles almost every one of these calls and why this whole question is far more dangerous for a small business than it ever was for Amazon. By the end, you'll never look at one of your people as a job title again. You'll see the tasks and you'll know which ones to give away. And the whole method is right here, free, because I'd genuinely rather you run your business well than buy anything from me. I've got a book and a newsletter, and I'll name them once at the very end, but you won't need either one to use every bit of what I'm going to share with you today. Step 1, audit the task, not the job. Don't look at a role and ask, can AI do this job? That's the question that gets people fired and then rehired. Instead, take one person and write down what they actually do in a week, not their title, their tasks. Most people, when you really list it out, are doing something like 15 to 20 distinct things in a week. Get them all on paper. Now, take that list and draw a line down the middle. On one side, the routine and repeatable work, the stuff that happens the same way every time. On the other side, the work that needs judgment or context or a real human relationship. Almost every job is a mix of both, and this is where most owners get it wrong. They think they're paying for the whole list. They're not. They're paying for one side of it. Step 2, understand where the machine actually stops. And this is the 60-40 line I mentioned. The routine side, roughly 60% of the work, the AI can genuinely take a big bite out of. Drafting, sorting, summarizing, answering the same question for the 100th time. Hand that over gladly. But the judgment side, the other 40%, is where it falls apart. Not because it's lazy, but because that work needs something the model doesn't have. And what it doesn't have is your context. A model will write you a confident, competent first draft of almost anything in about 4 seconds. What it can't tell you is whether that draft is right for your situation, your customer, this specific moment, because it's never once been in your business. The first draft is the cheap part. It always was. Knowing whether it's actually right is the expensive part, and that still lives in a person. So, the working rule for step 2 is simple. Hand the machine anything you could write clear instructions for. Keep a human on anything where the right answer depends on knowing your world. If you can turn it into a checklist, give it to the AI. If it needs someone who remembers what happened last quarter and can read a room, keep the person and let the AI take the busy work off their plate instead. Now, let's go back to that boomerang from the top and put real numbers on it, because this is the part that should stop you before you cut anyone. Start with the $55,000 salary you think you're saving. The AI handles the 60%, so call it $33,000 of actual time saved. Good so far. But the 40% it can't do still has to get done. So you hire it back at a higher rate because now you need judgment plus AI wrangling. Add recruiting and training and lost knowledge, and you're out another $30,000. Do the arithmetic. The savings didn't shrink, it vanished. And this isn't a scary hypothetical I cooked up. It's already happening at scale. The staffing firm Robert Half found that nearly a third of companies that cut jobs for AI have already rehired for the same roles. The research firm Gartner expects at least half of the customer service cuts to reverse by 2027, and a separate survey found 55% of executives who replaced people with AI already regret it. The boomerang isn't a risk. For a lot of them, it's a receipt. But here's the part that even the rehiring doesn't fix, and it's the real reason to be careful. When that experienced person walks out the door, some of what they knew walks out with them, and you can't buy it back at any salary. So step 3 is about protecting exactly that. Step 3, protect the context holder. Every business has that person who's been there 8 years and just knows things. Which client will dispute every single invoice? Which supplier goes sideways every December? Why you stopped doing it the old way? Because you tried and it blew up. None of that is written down anywhere. It was never in a job description. It lives in one human head built up over years of paying attention. And there's a lovely twist here that the panic completely missed. A Harvard economist who studies this, David Deming, found that AI doesn't lower the value of human judgment and people skills. It raises it. When the routine work gets cheap and instant, the scarce thing, the thing everyone suddenly needs more of, is the person who can tell whether the machine's answer is any good. So the veteran you were about to replace is the exact person who just became more valuable, not less. So if you take one sentence away from all of this, take this one. Hand the machine the bounded, repeatable task. Keep a human on anything that needs judgment, real context, or a relationship. Augment your people. Don't try to replace them. That's it. That single line would have saved most of the companies we've talked about a fortune and a lot of embarrassment. And the reason that rule works is the whole point of the arc I've been building. The part of a job a machine can copy was never the valuable part. The valuable part was always the judgment, the context, and the trust, the things that only sit inside a person. So when you aim AI at the task instead of the person, you keep everything that made that person worth paying, and you just hand them a very fast assistant. That's not a threat to your team. That's a raise in what your team can do. Step 4, and this one is only for those of you running something small because it changes the stakes completely. When Amazon gets one of these calls wrong, it loses a rounding error. When you get it wrong with 15 people, you can lose the whole thing. If a giant sheds 5% of its customers to a bad chatbot, it barely notices. If you lose 5% of yours, it's probably your 5 best, the high touch, high margin ones who needed a human and didn't get one. But that same smallness is also your advantage if you use it. A giant finds out a year later, buried in a quarterly report, that the automation backfired. You found out in about a week because your customers call you, and sometimes they call you by name. So move slower on cutting and faster on listening, hand the AI a task, watch what actually happens to your customers, and keep the humans anywhere the feedback gets worse. Your size is a superpower here. Don't waste it copying a giant's mistakes. So, don't do what the headlines told everyone to do. Don't look at your team, see salaries, and start subtracting. Look at the work, task by task, and start sorting. Give the machine the boring, repeatable 60%, gladly. Guard the judgment, the context, and the relationships like the assets they are. Do that, and AI becomes the best hire you ever made instead of the most expensive one you ever fired. So tell me down in the comments and be honest about it. What's the one task in your business you'd hand to AI tomorrow without a second thought? And what's the one you'd never let it touch, no matter how good it got? I find the second answer is where people really figure out what their work is actually worth. And if you think I'm being too protective of the humans here, tell me that too. I'll read it. I'm Dave Saunders. I write about building real, durable businesses in a very loud moment in my book and in my weekly newsletter, The Build. If this gave you a clear way to decide what to automate and what to protect, please subscribe because there's a new one of these every single week.